Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. And now to honor America, please join in the singing of our national anthem. Representing the three-time Stanley Cup champion New Jersey Devils, Arlette.
I feel like I'm at a game. Oh my gosh. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, Sam.
Yes, happy birthday, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Is Sam not going to do the intro here?
I guess not.
I guess not. Take it away, birthday boy.
Hey,
All right,
yeah.
come on, birthday boy. Go for it.
Happy Devils Sunday.
There we
And
go.
what you guys heard, my birthday as well. So, boys, cheers to that. Cheers to
And a
Hey.
flashy
Another-
New Jersey over there, too.
Yeah, I picked it up. It's been hold on.
Oh, yeah, take a sip.
It's been great for the beach. And just for the warmer months. So I get to rep the Devils in the warmer months and still have what looks like a jersey on. I was actually wearing it down in Wildwood last week, and I had someone shout from across the street, "Let's go Devils!" And I'm like, yeah, all the way down
That's
to
awesome.
Wildwood. Flyer territory.
Yeah, usually you hear like, they suck, and you're like, yeah, so do you.
Yeah.
And they start singing about the Eagles, and you're like, it's the wrong sport. What are you guys talking about?
Oh, my gosh.
Dude, try
You
living
know-
there. I lived there for 6.5 years. It was brutal. In Philadelphia. In the heart.
Funny story about the fall. I ran a race down in Delaware for Dogfish Head, and part of the giveaway for the race was a really nice Patagonia rain jacket. And I was wearing that thing because it was the fall and it was perfect for the fall. And then I realized when I was down the shore one weekend, I'm like, oh wait, this thing is close to Eagles green. People are going to think I like the Eagles, so I stopped wearing it in the fall. because I didn't want people to think I like the Eagles.
Oh my God.
So
Yeah,
it's amazing the colors. You really don't think about it, but teams' colors, man.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
When you really start looking at your wardrobe, you're like, oh, I probably can't wear that color, or shouldn't wear that color, and I hate that team. Or maybe
I shouldn't wear stripes ever because it makes me just look very wide, fatter than normal. But I'll wear them anyways. Damn it.
That's why I just wear black t-shirts. Very, very slimming.
100%.
Oh yeah,
I love that
wear
jersey you got there, but I'm worried about wearing it because I know what I'll look like when I'm wearing it.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, there is a red one you can get, and we're not sponsored by this company, but there is a red one you can get, and I went with the classic red and green instead of the red and black. But I wish they would do a solid red one with the green trim. I think that would be really cool. But they don't, so I don't have it yet. But yeah, it was definitely a great find, and I love it. It's perfect for. I think I got this way back in the. I may have gotten this way back in the winter, and I've been waiting all this time to use it.
Oh, really? I thought it was brand new that you got it.
No. I just haven't worn it a lot because it hasn't been warm enough till recently. So it's kind of like new, just because I've had it and haven't really worn it, and I haven't worn it on the podcast yet, and
all right.
hasn't been
you get to show off your
worn.
guns.
Yeah, well,
Guns out, guns out.
Yeah, birthday time. Yeah.
It's also warm. It's also warm. It's also warm here in North Jersey tonight, so figured I'll cool it down for a little bit.
Yeah, dude, it's very warm.
Cheers to you and your birthday.
Yes, indeed, sir. Indeed. He froze, but what a hell of a freeze! What a perfect freeze! What a perfect freeze frame!
Right there. Yeah,
that's
perfect.
There you go. There you go.
Wow.
I'm gonna take a picture of that one. Boop.
Shorts guy must be hungover for his birthday every single year. It's kind of like me because my birthday's on the 18th after St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
So it's always like you have hangover birthday. But just whatever.
Yeah, and
you learn to deal with it.
It is. Yeah, and then in your early days, it was like hangover. What's that? Just keep drinking. Hair of the dog. Hair of the dog.
Oh yeah.
So not to.
I turned 30 one time, and it was all downhill.
Yeah. Can't recover like we used to. So not to change subjects, but I guess we should probably get into the conversation that our tagline is, right? Who will be the coach?
Well, I mean, we just kind of do whatever the hell we want most of the time anyway. So,
if you feel I guess so. I guess so.
Like
but I do feel like it. I kind of feel like it. But I mean, like,
we can do it.
I was thinking about this, right? And that's a dangerous thing to do, thinking about things.
Okay.
But
right.
So a lot of the things that I was thinking about is.
We don't want to slow down.
I know. Slow down. All of a sudden, my brain starts to hurt. But when I was thinking about this, I see a bunch of different names, and I know a lot of Devils fans. We've talked about this before, and they kind of want that big, sexy name, right? They want the gallant. They want somebody that's going to be.
That's going to be like, the five names that we know of right now.
We could definitely, 100%. Do you want to go over them? You want to name them, and then we'll talk about each?
Name them real first, and then we'll break them all down. How about that? You want to do that?
Sounds good. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, as far as I know, Gallant, Peter Laviolette, who is a John Stevens, and then they've said the mystery candidate was Lindy Ruff. I heard rumors of Lindy Ruff.
I heard that today too.
Our man who is still in charge over there, Elaine Nasruddin, Coach Naz.
Okay,
those are the five that we know. Are we up on Facebook?
So, wait, say that again. I don't know if we're up on Facebook. That's I was just asking Sam that question.
Okay.
So let's go through that list again. Go through that list again. All right. Mm-hmm. Lindy Ruff. I want to start there.
Okay.
I know a lot of people are like, no way. He's not good enough. He's not good enough. I disagree, and I feel like he might be. Yeah, he never reached the pinnacle, obviously, right? He was with Buffalo for a very long time. I think from 97 to, I could be wrong about this, but 97 to
I got it up here now. From Buffalo. Yeah, he started in 97.
Yeah.
Where's his years as an NHL coach? 93. Holy hell, he was there forever.
He was there for until
2007. No. Oh wait, I think it was after that. His name, or maybe 28. I don't know. Whatever. It was a long time he was in Buffalo.
Yeah. So, irregardless, he was in Buffalo for a long time. Every year he was in Buffalo, they seemed like a very competitive team, a very hard fighting team. They were one of those teams that they were just a gritty team to play against. I don't think he gets a lot of credit.
He coached the team that almost won the Cup with Hasek at the Stars. Red Hull, the infamous, remember that old rule, skate in the crease?
Oh, yeah. Skate in the crease. Skate in the crease.
Oh, I hated that rule so much. Oh.
Yeah, there's a lot of rules. A lot of rules that don't make sense. That's definitely one of them. But yeah, I don't know. Just Sam, honestly, I don't know what's going on my end, but I can't find it, buddy. But anyways, yeah, like I don't think it's a bad choice. Honestly, when I look at the whole situation, I think Lindy Ruff, that's a great name to throw out there. Gallant, that's a great name to throw out there. You said John Stevens, that's a great name to throw out there. Would I take any three of those? Yeah, I would take any three of them. They have good, resumes, good backing. I think it was Grant Marshall that we had on that might have said that he played for Gallant and said Gallant was awesome.
Yes.
So
yes, it was.
That
it was Grant.
And he said that was one of his favorite coaches to play for. Yeah.
He's known for. He's known for that.
Yeah, any one of those guys would be fantastic. But at the same time, the one thing that I saw from Nasruddin towards the end of the season was Nasruddin started to get this team to play at a pretty exceptional level. And you have to think about everything that team went through the entire season. Because not only did you have your coach fired, but that whole situation was kind of handled strangely. You started out the season where you had a lot of high expectations. You bring in PK Subban. You bring in Jack Hughes through the draft, the number 1 overall pick. You have Taylor Hall kind of, hey, there he is.
Hey, there he is. He's back.
He's back. You know what's weird is your picture just went from like this, boop, and then the helmet on. Like it was.
Yeah. Tuvir with my new helmet on.
You had the greatest freeze frame ever.
I know. Awesome. Producer Sam, I really hope you kept that, because that would be great to have. So
I did take a picture of it, just so you know.
Good. Very good. We should use that as our new promo material.
Yeah. Well, we started talking about the old coaching situation here in New Jersey.
Okay.
And we are first kind of diving into, all the candidates. We just kind of run them down, but we're starting to talk, with the man who is already behind the bench, and that's Elaine Nasruddin.
Yeah, let me take this off because I can't drink with a helmet on.
Just get a straw. Get a straw.
I do have straws, but I'm not drinking a solid IPA through a straw. I'll be on the floor in about an hour. Anyway, it's the Devils are in such a. First of all, let's just say this: at least we're not Buffalo. At least we're not Buffalo, who are firing people as they're leaving for the day, and on their way out. I think that with the way the Devils were going, that unless there was someone who is just so solidly
oh, he froze again.
Uh-oh. Solidly what? Anyway.
What? You know what? Also, Shorts guy's always got the best cliffhangers when he freezes too. It's like right in the he's like really make a good point. Look at that slick head over there.
Quarantine, baby. Quarantine, baby.
Back. He's
I'm
back.
Sweating.
Okay.
Though.
I don't know what's happening. It's the backwoods internet. It must not be rich man internet like Sam likes to say that he has.
Like
but,
Sam Wu? Yeah.
Yeah, like Sam Wu.
What's
anyway,
up, Tim?
so I think I got cut off, but I was saying that it's at least we're not Buffalo, and I think the Devils have, unless there's someone who's just heads and shoulders above Nasreddine, it's hard to not go away from Nasreddine with the body of work he was working with. The team seemed to be going in the correct direction, and it's going to with such a long layoff. Nasreddine at least knows what the team has, knows what the team was capable of doing, had the team going in the correct direction, and can be that second person, especially if it's Fitz that's kept as general manager, who can work with saying, okay, what pieces do we need to make this work? So
yeah, but Joe, or I'm sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
No,
Well,
I was just going to say.
Go ahead.
My last piece is it's really hard to kind of justify letting him go without knowing. I mean, we were not mathematically out, and I still think we had the slightest possibility to make the playoffs. If we were completely a Detroit or a Senator, or Detroit or an Ottawa, yeah, sure, out the door. But we seem to be going in a decent direction.
Yeah, I just want to address something. Wait, but Scotty, I'm sorry. Because this is a great question from somebody on our Facebook group, from Ray Leo. He said, shouldn't they address the GM position before hiring a coach? And we'll talk about that too. I'll let you get to your point, but I wanted to pin that because I think that's such an awesome question.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's something I feel like we talk. Short Scott, do you want to handle? I feel like you handle this every single week, so go for it.
I feel like I completely agree. I say that every week. If you're gonna get the general manager position down first and then the coach down, because the general manager, whoever it is going to want to be working with that coach. You don't want to have a coach come in and then the general manager and the coach not work together. So general manager, yes, first. So figure that out first. And then figure out the coach. If they're going to go with a coach, then you have to assume it's going to be Fitz.
Right.
Yeah.
So for Ray, it's a great question. But for this purpose, we're just kind of like examining all of the coaching prospects that we have heard about so far. We're all in complete agreement that they should figure out the GM situation now. I mean, like, I don't know what they're waiting on, and maybe they are doing more interviews that we're unaware of. Maybe there's just I don't know, but it seems like it's Fitz's job. Seems like it.
So it seems like it's Fitz's job, and I'd kind of feel bad for the dude, because if it's not his job, I feel bad for him in general, because if it's not his job and they're just kind of stringing him along, and he has to go to these, dog and pony shows, and he has to go to the draft lottery and all this other kind of crap. And he's got to go through those processes and answer all these questions and do all these things. And at the end of the day, they're like, yeah, thanks, dude, for holding his seat. But, we got this dude over here who's going to be coming in and taking your spot. It's like
he may already have
slow dancing with somebody else's chick. And then he comes in and he goes, thanks, man. I just wanted to get a beer.
He may already have another position, though, lined up, on the team. And don't forget, also, Fitz was behind the bench for a while earlier in the season as well.
Oh, I know.
So he's been used to kind of just, he's like the wolf. He's like Harvey Keitel from Pulp Fiction. You got a problem? Just call in Fitz. He fixes everything. So, but one thing actually I wanted to mention about the coaching situation with Nasreddine in particular, I think there was a definite turnaround in the team's play from the time when Hines was there. And it was funny because the defense, we would all complain about it every single week. And then we would complain about Nasreddine, who was in charge of the defense. And then when he got put up into head coach, we're like, why are we putting this guy up there that has been in charge of the defense? But obviously we've seen that, some of those schemes weren't his. He's got a different, style than Coach Hines. And you touched on it a little bit there, Scott, with, a particular player that was causing friction in the team. And, they said Hines was a player's coach. I don't know. Like, I'm starting to think of him more as a particular player coach, kind of deal. And Nasreddine seems to be reaching and connecting with these young players. At least that's what I saw. I'm no professional. I'm just a fan like you guys. But that's what I saw in those last 2 to 3 weeks of the season was this team starting to come together and starting to play well. And
yeah, for sure.
Is that a credit to Nasruddin, or is that a credit to the players are just eventually they're all super talented? We know this. Hughes, Nico, Jesper Bratt, Kyle Palmieri. We got a ton of talent on this team, young talent. So is it just them actually, turning the corner, so to speak, themselves, or was it Nasruddin really pushing them and putting them in the right position?
Well, let me hold on. First of all, I want to say hello to Mary, hello to Stacy, hello to Tim. We have a lot of people that are checking into the Facebook group live. Hello, Benji. Hello, Joe, Jersey Joe. Hello, Ray. Yeah, sorry. I just wanted we want to acknowledge all of our fans that are watching either on Facebook or on Twitter or on Periscope or Twitch. What's up, all
YouTube.
three of you on Twitch? YouTube. All of our different platforms. We mainly go on, or I mainly personally go on Facebook because it's easier for me to follow along with everybody's comments. And it is the most commented podcast. We are the most commented podcast in New Jersey Devils history, just saying. So back to what we were talking about. I see there. So a lot of people a lot of people will say Gallant, right? A lot of people will say, like we said before, they want that big time, that sexy name that comes across, because you want to have something that's going to have a little bit of flash, a little bit of flair. You want somebody that's proven. You want somebody that's even maybe got a cup under their belt. But I'm going to tell you this. If you look at a situation that was perfect for a coach to come in that had the pedigree, that had the big sexy name tag to it, that was when Babcock went to Toronto. And I'm not saying that we're Toronto. I'm not saying that it is or would be the same exact situation. But just because you hire the big name coach doesn't mean a single thing. It doesn't mean squat. You could hire the biggest name coach in the world, and he can come in with all this we're going to change the system, clean house, do this, do that, and it means zip. You need to find a guy that has chemistry. And the one thing that you pointed out, Scotty and Shorts Guy, is towards the end of this season, before the lockout happened, they were starting to go on a tear, and they were starting to play like a really, well-formed team. And he was starting to get the perfect line combinations and getting a lot of play out of some guys. Like Jesper Bratt flourished under Elaine Nasruddin. And if you don't think so, go look at his second half stats after Baldy was fired. John Hines. Sorry. My brain just skipped a beat there.
I have to say, Ray in the Facebook group just said, have they not announced someone because it's someone who's still working? That's the other thing, too, I wanted to bring up.
That could be possible.
There are still 8 jobs that are on the line if teams don't make it through that best-of-5 series. So eight more coaches, or even more. So let's double that with assistant coaches, too. There could be 16 more possible coaches coming out onto the market shortly after the first round of the play-in series. So, yeah, Leo, or Ray, excuse me. Yes, it could be that could be a potential, and also they could be waiting to see who gets fired. I mean, that's the thing. We have the time to make this decision. But to Beer Baron, go with what you were saying. If we bring someone in to just completely change the system and clean house, do we really want to go down that route in another, potential rebuild in a sense? Because that is, we could have that sexy name come in like Gallant, whatever. And then they say, oh, we have to do this. We got to get rid of this player, bring in this player, this player, this player. And then here we are, let's say the league starts in January. Here we are, 2 months in, 3 months in, end of February, mid-March. And the Devils are still floundering because they're trying to learn a new system.
Yep.
That potential is always there as well. And I completely agree that the team was doing well at the end under Nasruddin. And I think we all lost out on seeing what Nasruddin would have been capable of getting out of these players with a full slate of about 2.5 weeks left of that season.
I think one interesting factor to bring up, because I'm a fan of Naz, and I'm I liked like what we're talking about. I like what I saw from the team with Gallant. Just in general, the system. I feel like what was Vegas when he was there? They were like an offensive beast. They were all over the place, and our team with these young players is kind of built to play the same system. And I just with Gallant. Did he get a fair shake in Vegas? Don't forget, he turned around Florida as well. Prior to going out to Vegas, like he turned the Panthers, like it was like a night and day kind of deal. Like they turned into a different team when he was there. They didn't have all the talent in the world, but they were tough as hell to play against. Like they were going to play you every night. It wasn't just like easy 2 points right here. And they turned it around, and I think they made the playoffs both years he was in Florida, or they just missed the first year, and then the second year they did. And then Vegas, first year going to the Cup Finals, players really seem to like playing for him and get a lot out of him. I don't know if he's one of those coaches, though, that it burns out quick, because he did have shorter stints, on teams. I don't know. But in my mind, if I was deciding, those would be the two that I'd be leaning towards.
And one other point with Naz is Naz was here all this time, and he saw what did not work with these players, which is possibly why he was able to put a turnaround together. He saw what did not work. You almost have to think that he had almost no say in what went on, and it was almost the Hines show, and I'll take it under consideration, and it still didn't work. And nothing was working. So Naz saw what didn't work with this group, and it's almost like he was able to take what didn't work and turn it into something that was about to start working. It's
That's a really good
I don't
point.
know. It's really hard to justify anyone. I mean, and again, we're not Buffalo, so we're not firing people randomly. But it's to me, it's almost hard to justify letting him go without full knowledge of what they could have been with the last 2.5 weeks. And they could not have made the playoffs, and they could have floundered. They could have tanked, and then at that point, fire him if he's not the right guy.
So,
but so many unknowns.
Let me float this out there to you then, for both our GM and our coach. Would it almost be to the point where, why don't we give him a year? I know a lot of people will say no, because you don't want to waste the year of a player, right? You don't want to waste another year of Nico. You don't want to waste a year of Mackenzie Blackwood in between the pipes. You want to start
probably won't be available as well in a year.
Exactly. You want to get this thing going. So there's the big debate too. Like, should we give Nasruddin a full year to see what he could do? Do you give Fitz, a full year and see what he could do? I mean, I don't think he did terrible during the trade deadline, to be honest with you.
No.
And that was kind of like thrown in his lap. I think he did pretty good. His return return for Coleman alone. Like, I love Blake Coleman. I think Blake Coleman was probably one of the most underrated players in the NHL. I'm trying not to be biased, but if you look at we watched him play every game, right? He was the guy that came to work every game, bust his ass, scored some pretty insane goals. I mean, he had a little bit of a scoring touch. Yeah. And that first game of the season, scored that weird goal where he like flipped it with one hand and the dude draped around. We still lost that damn game, but whatever. But point being is, like, Blake Coleman, we all thought he was awesome. I always loved Blake Coleman. But did I think that we could get a first-round pick for him? Hell no. People were saying, like, third round. I remember, like, somebody from ESPN was like, yeah, the Devils they're going to trade Blake Coleman. They'll probably get, like, a fifth or sixth round pick for him or something like that. So fits in his short window of time for what we've seen as a fan. Because like you said, Scotty, we're not experts. I think he did all right. I think Nasruddin did all right. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the team was starting to turn the corner and go into the right direction. And then which sucks is because of this whole pandemic and shortening the season, even if it was only like 10, 12 games that they they missed out on. I wanted to see what happened to those 10, 12 games. Maybe they finished strong. Maybe they finished like 8-2, or maybe they finished like 10-0. Who knows?
Yeah.
Is it possible? Or maybe they go 1-9, and the wheels fell off, and he lost the team.
But then you have your answer. And now we're left speculating, and we just don't know. Plus, we also have to consider too: are we going to have a full season next year? Like they haven't even.
No, they're saying yes. I saw a report as I think it was yesterday or the day before that all word coming out of the NHL, even if they start late, they're going to have a full 82-game season, which means they're going to be going deep into the summer with the Stanley Cup playoffs, which is cool as hell. Nothing like sitting on the beach and watching the Stanley Cup Finals. Just saying, or at the Rock in your shorts. Going to the Rock in shorts is fun.
I go to no more like 5 days off.
Well, you do. What's that, Scotty?
I was gonna say no more, extended breaks though, like those 5-day breaks in the middle of the season and stuff like that.
It's gonna be grueling.
To have three. If they start in January and we have like 3 games a week, I mean the teams are gonna get exhausted. But for hockey fans, it'll be amazing having like 3 or 4 games every single week. Woo! You know those weeks where there's only like 1 game and you're like, well, that was it. It was on Tuesday. They don't play again until next Wednesday. Awesome. Yeah. So I'll be interested in that.
Yeah, but again, that's going to come into – you're also going to have to want to bring someone in as a coach who is going to be – you got to think they want to put an emphasis on fitness and recovery as well. If we're going to have such a compressed schedule, you want someone to at least have knowledge of or get them to hire someone who is good with fitness and recovery and getting these guys in optimal game shape and to recover well, and to not – you don't want a coach that's going to that has that mentality of you need to just run them into the ground every single practice because that's going to become – yeah, pretty much. Yeah, up, let's go, end line, let's go, you screwed up.
Again.
Right?
Again.
So
you really have to take that into consideration with what our season might look like next year. Like, is it someone that can handle a compressed schedule and not run your players into the ground, and that is also going to be willing to rotate too?
So my good friend Lisa, who might be rooting for the wrong team, just mentioned that November 1st is when the 2020-2021 season is supposed to start. So that's when as long as the virus doesn't screw all this stuff up, that's when they're going to try to kick the next season up, which isn't as terrible as I thought. I thought from what I heard, it might have been later than that. If it's in November 1st, that's not that far off from. It's only a month after,
right? Or when training camp is supposed to. I thought I think that's. I don't know if that's correct. I thought it was January of 2021 that the season was supposed to start.
I don't know.
That's what
either way, like if it's like you said, Short Sky, if it's a condensed schedule, imagine like I can't imagine like the amount of maybe like players kind of like have this gentleman's agreement, like, all right, like save it for the playoffs, like not saying like don't give it 100%, but like don't go in a corner and like just take somebody's head off in the first 3 weeks of the season, because you're gonna spend yourself before we even get to like the halfway point.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting. It's going to be super interesting. And when are they going to let fans in? That's the other thing too.
Yeah, I mean that to me, fans being at games, it's going to be a long time. I mean, I know the NFL has visions of grandeur by thinking they're going to have fans come in and sign a waiver and get people there.
Hell yeah, I'll sign that waiver. Get a couple beers in me, I'll be like, whatever.
Hey, you know what? I can always sell you a Let's Go Devils podcast mask if you need it. Just saying.
Speaking of which, I wore mine to ShopRite yesterday.
Nice.
Yeah, I took a picture of myself.
I actually have to. I think I have to make myself another one of the Parkway sign ripoff because I think I lost it somewhere.
Oh no! Check your pockets.
Man.
Check your pockets in the pants that you just washed.
I've checked everywhere. I mean, it's not like I can't make another one.
Yeah.
I've got so many masks I use. So, but yeah, as far as fans are concerned, with the way things are going and looking at what's going on around the country, it seems like we in our area might be able to ticket in this small print. Yeah.
Yeah, I just read that too. Steve White just said a waiver would be in the ticket in small print. That's funny.
Yeah, right. No, I just think in our area we might see it sooner than other areas, but I don't see it anytime soon.
Yeah, honestly, not to lament on what's actually happening in the world because sometimes I just don't want to think about it, but my hope and I think everybody's hope is by January, maybe there's something that changes, or maybe there's a shift, and we're able to start to go to games and things start to return to normal, irregardless of what happens the rest of this season, next season. I don't know why that's funny.
I was just thinking, I was like, oh, that's the middle of flu season.
You're
sorry,
being right when everybody's getting the sickest.
That's not funny. That's not funny. I shouldn't say that. Sorry.
It's not funny, but
I will say
true.
this though.
Sadly
I will
true.
say this is what you are going to see this, the end of the summer when the Stanley Cup's awarded. You're going to see a team win the cup, and it's going to be like the team has won it away and has zero support there. My team in Europe, Liverpool, won the league. They clinched the league title with 7 games remaining a week and a half ago. For the first time in 30 years, they won the title, and no one was in the stadium. And it was sad because it should have been one of those moments that should have been a seminal moment, and it was quiet. The place should have gone nuts.
I heard there were a lot of Liverpool parties going on there. So.
Oh, there were, and you know what, and people came out from the club and said, no, don't gather, please don't gather. It's just like, it's one of those things where, don't gather, but like, let's say, sorry, Sam, could you imagine?
Sam just gathered,
yeah. Could you imagine Toronto, let's say for some oddball reason, Toronto wins the cup this year. Will the people of Toronto not gather outside of the Air Canada Centre to celebrate them winning? It's the same thing. It's going to be sad. Liverpool's going to get the trophy at the end of the season, and there's going to be no one there, and it feels different. The pause. I'm happy they won. I'm ecstatic. It feels different, and it's just the same thing. It's like telling the people of Toronto, "Oh, your team won for the first time since the 1940s, but stay home, everyone." You should stay home. Obviously, that's what you should do. However, it's impossible to get people to actually listen when it's such a moment like that. Anyway, sorry, Sam. I know you wanted to cut in, but I got talking. Sorry.
No, that's okay. No, that's a point well said. I mean, and behind the scenes at the Let's Go Devils podcast and the Primetime Radio Network, which, guys, we didn't I forgot to tell you that we're streaming on the Primetime Radio Network exclusively now, but we'll talk about it after the show. So if you couldn't find the stream, there's a reason for it. But I just want to let you guys know, the audience know, that I was cleaning out the basement and I found the mother lode of Rangers Suck confetti. I'm talking about the lost box order that we had.
Did you feel like Indiana Jones?
Yes. Yes. So right now, if you subscribe to the Primetime Radio Network's YouTube channel and you email me at sam@letsgodevils.com, you will get some free Rangers Suck confetti because I'm cleaning out the basement in the mail. And you just email me your name, your address, and where to mail it. And yeah, that's all you have to do. And obviously a screenshot of you subscribing. Offer ends July 9th as supplies last. We actually had, I actually had like 18 emails in the past 2 days. Pretty good.
Really?
Pretty good.
Really?
Yeah. No,
Wow.
I'm dead serious. Dead serious.
And only half of them were people looking for money.
Yeah. Prince of Nigeria.
A prince from Nigeria.
Says he's going to give us $10 million for our jet. I was like, oh, okay.
Well, there we go.
Did that prince move to Queens to find his queen?
Hey, one of the greatest movies of all time.
I agree.
One of the greatest movies of all time.
And apparently, there's still a sequel in the works.
Yeah.
There was a good stretch during quarantine when Coming to America was on like every other night, and I would always catch it in different parts. And it's no matter how many times you watch that movie, it's hysterical every single time.
But it's one of those movies you can't watch on TV with commercials and where they like bleep it out. You know what I mean? Like you have to watch that. That's a movie that. Oh God,
you know what?
That's a movie that I can quote from the beginning to the end. There's so many parts of that like you watch it on regular TV, they cut out, and I'm like, oh my God, that was like one of the best parts.
When he's greeting his neighbors in the morning.
Yes, you very much. Yeah.
Oh,
I love how they depict New York City during that time. I'm like, they made it look great.
Yeah, right.
So anywho's
off the rails.
Hey, I got a question in regards to our topic, in regards to the coaching search. There's a name that hasn't been brought up by you guys, by us, by anybody. Scott Stevens. Thoughts, gentlemen?
I don't think he wants to get back into coaching.
No, I don't think he wants to either.
Yeah, that was going to be my answer.
He's happy with his NHL network, gig that he goes to like maybe every 2 weeks. He films a couple specials and he's done.
True that. Wouldn't that be so cool?
You know what though? I also think that if a former team legend like Scott Stevens is going to come back and coach, there's always that little hint of what happened with John McClain there in the background.
Yeah,
and whoever that player is going to be has to get it right and not fail. It's a no-win situation if you don't get it right, or if the team is not ready. Like if it's a situation like back when Lou took over the team when we were first place with like 3 games before the playoffs. Like if it's that situation, all right, maybe. But you also have to want to have the right.
You don't want to tarnish. You don't want to tarnish a legend, and that's the whole reason why. As much as I want to see Martin Brodeur become the general manager of the Devils, if he screws it up or if he does a bad job, it tarnishes the legend of who he is. And like, I don't know, maybe that's for some, but it's not for all. Like it wouldn't tarnish like how you look at him on the ice, but at the same time, it's just like
no.
I don't know.
I agree, but that's where I think
about it.
But
if it's like a year,
but that's where I think Brodeur has been doing it correctly. And as much as we hated to see him in a Blues uniform, he cut his teeth as an assistant GM with the Blues organization, and then moved here, and he's more in an executive role instead of a player recruitment role as a regular general manager. I think Brodeur will be the guy. It's just he's taking kind of the longer route, learn everything he can about it, and then eventually take that position, which I think he eventually will. But he's going about it the right way instead of going from, he played 2 years ago and all of a sudden he's in the GM and doesn't know what he's doing. I think he's doing it right. He's learning the ins and outs of what to do on the front office end, and will eventually take over those reins after Fitz.
It doesn't seem like he's in any sort of rush to do it. I haven't heard any, peeps from Marty on just like, putting out the word like he's interested in that position and stuff like that. From all I've heard, he's pretty comfortable, like you said, learning and in the spot that he's in right now. But also talking about former players, coaches, other than Scott Stevens, who, we all love, but again, like, does he actually want the job? Someone who I do know is out there, that's an ex-Devil, and that's John Mad Dog Madden.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know about a head coach, but I would love to see him come back as maybe an assistant role,
Oh, so would I.
You know what, though? I feel like this is so stupid. Like, because of who it is, I'm like, yeah, dude, bring him back, head coach. Yeah, give him the keys to the car. Yeah, it's all good. But then, like, you have to actually sit down and look at, is he qualified to be the head coach of the Devils? Is he qualified to lead a very, very young team? And that's one of the biggest caveats to the whole thing is whoever takes over this team, whether it be Nazardine and just let him go because he already has like a feeling of the room, like Shorts Guy said before, or do you give it the keys to somebody else and you're just like, all right, here you go, dude. Here's a 19-year-old Jack Hughes, number 1 overall pick. Here's Nico Hischier. He should probably be your captain. I don't know, just saying. Here's PK Subban and his media and his social media stuff. Like, there's a lot to go on with this team. And I'm not bad-mouthing PK, and I'm not saying, like, Jack Hughes is a diva or Nico's, I'm just saying there's, like, a lot of things that are going to go on this team that somebody coming in is going to have to be able to balance all these things very delicately, but at the same time be able to motivate them. Like, you don't want to have a dude come in here and piss Jack Hughes off and have him want to bounce after his rookie seasons or after his rookie contract's over. Like, that is one of my biggest fears, that you're starting to develop this really good young team. If Jack starts going in the right direction and he starts to become the superstar that we all think he can be, you don't want him to be like in 2 years, be like, my rookie deal's done. See you guys later. Deuces. Thanks. Loved it. Hated it. You want to make these kids happy, but you also want to win at the same time. So there's such a fine balance that has to happen.
And I think the fact that, like we mentioned earlier, Fitz was behind the bench for a little bit. And then when Hines was let go, it was Naz that was given the job as an interim basis. I have a feeling that Fitz Fitz to me is probably pretty hands-on, and not hands-on so much micromanaging, but my guess is he knows what's going on there. He knows what Fitz is doing. If there's going to be someone that knows if it should be Fitz, or if it should be Naz, it's probably Fitz.
Mm-hmm. I gotta say, I still can't stop thinking about the point you made before, with just he was there for all the mistakes that Hines made with his team, and he was able to learn from that. And that type of learning experience, I mean, you can't buy that stuff, like that is, I didn't even really think about that. And I really think that's a strong point in his favor, and also solid reasoning as to why the team started performing well, post Hines firing, post Taylor Hall trade. We were looking at some other things, but that's a other strong factor in the situation.
Yes, yeah, but there's almost always a new coach bounce in the proper direction when a new coach takes over. So I don't know if we really saw the end of that, honeymoon bounce back. Who knows if that would have, like Beer Baron said, like we could have gone 1-9 or 1-10 at the end of the season. Like, who knows? But Fitzgerald has got to have he's got to know what is there and kind of have that under consideration as well. And I'm curious if maybe the decisions have been made. And it would not shock me if these interviews were just, being done as just to appease us, to make it look like that they're doing something. I really wouldn't put it past them to do that. You know what I mean? Like, hey, look, we brought all these guys in, but you know what? Nazardine knows the guys better than all these guys, and we like his system better. that's altogether possible because you know pretty damn well that if none of these names were being brought up, if there were no interviews going on, the fan base would be in an uproar going, "You're not doing anything. Why aren't you doing anything?"
You're totally right. Totally right.
And they're bringing all these names, and I know that I've heard that there are names that were floated for the position of GM that were not publicized. Pretty good people who were interviewing, but again, the interviews could be, I don't want to say a show, but good on the Devils for at least having the conversation with other people. And right now, what is to be lost by having a Zoom or a Google Meet interview? It's not like you're having people fly out to New Jersey and bring them around, feed them a dinner, feed them a lunch, show them the arena, show them a game. It costs them almost nothing other than a little bit of time and effort to have these interviews, and it gives the fans something to be like, oh, good, we're looking at people. And even if it is Naz and Fitz keeping the jobs, people are going to lose their minds and be like, well, why are you doing this? But if through these interviews they were the two people that are right for this job, then they deserve the job. I don't want someone coming in just because of a name, because a name doesn't always work. And you brought up Babcock in Toronto. A name does not always work. I mean, the Rangers bring in names and they hardly ever work.
Exactly. Players. Yeah, there you go. Look at how young you are.
Look at that young.
Oh, what a clean cut. What a clean cut looking young whippersnapper. Wow. And then there's Sam too. Sam, you look kind of young too, but John Madden, wow, what a young looking. I'm kidding. No, dude, you know what though? Like, I would, I don't know. Sergey Breland's been an assistant coach down in the AHL for a while. Maybe Patrick Elias has coached the Czech team. There's been, a few ex-Devils that I would like.
Yeah. From what I've seen, Mad Dog is actually out there like, I want to coach again. Because I think he was coaching collegiate and he left his position and he was putting his name back out there. He wants to coach again in the NHL.
And I would love those old names to come back, but I only want them if they're the right person for the job. Right. And that's what it has. And that's what it has to come down to. And if they're not the right person for the job, as much as I love Breland, as much as I love Elias, as much as I love Mad Dog, if they're not good for this team in this moment, it's like forcing a square peg in a round hole. It's not. Yeah, it's not good for the team. Because we've gone through such a crap period since 2012. I don't want to see a name brought back because they are a high-profile alumnus, only to go through another 2, 3, 4, 5 years of crap and see their name kind of get tarnished. And let's say it's Elias, and every time you go there, you look at the 26 hanging in the rafters like, oh, remember when that? And
that would kill me personally. Personally, that would kill me because I'd have to say he's definitely my all-time favorite Devil, and it would kill me to see his name get tarnished. But I think one of the things that you said that as soon as you said it, like, made me just want to punch a hole in the wall is like, since 2012, this has been going on. So for 8 years, an 8-year stretch, this team hasn't been able to get it together. And
we had one
year.
We
had one good year, and that's it. And Ray Shero seemed like he had this team going in the right direction, right? I don't know. We've said this before, but goddamn, I would love to be a fly on the wall of what happened and why he got fired. Was it him just being like, dude, you know what? I'm done. Like, I can't deal with the pressure from that you guys are giving me. And they're like, you know what? No, you're fired. Like, was it something like that? Or was it like, he's like, I want to do this, this, and this. And they're like, no, you're not doing any of that. And he's like, F you. And they're like, whoa, you can't talk to us like that. See you later. So, who knows why he got fired? Or was it really just what they said? Like, they gave him so many opportunities, and even though, yeah, you're getting Jack Hughes and it's cool because as an owner, you're going up on the stage, you get the number 1 pick, you got your kids there, and you're like, yeah, it's cool, man. Same time, it's not cool. You're getting number 1 pick because your team sucks. You know, there's that double-edged sword of it.
I think it's because he hung on the Hines way too long.
Or you're a placeholder team that doesn't deserve first overall pick this year, and you know. Mm-hmm.
But I think Ray. I think part of that, there might have been a disagreement as to, you know, either A, he wanted to make some moves, or B, he didn't want to make moves, like vice versa from management. But I also think that hanging on to Hines for this long, I mean, it was always, oh, John Hines is the right man. He's the good coach. He's the guy. He's da-da-da-da-da. And you look at it, other than that 1 year, it's just, were they improving? Were they getting better under Hines? No, but everyone just keeps telling us, oh, he's such a developmental coach. We did so good in Pittsburgh. Or what's their AHL affiliate? Whatever it is out there. That he Wilkes-Barre, or is that Philly?
No. Wilkes-Barre is Penguins, and Phillies is
Penguins.
Yeah, Phillies is
Scranton, right?
Allentown, maybe? Yeah, Wilkes-Barre, Scranton. And then the Flyers
Hershey is the Capitals.
Hershey is the Caps, and
whoever. Yeah.
Quite a few there.
The point is, like, we heard about all this development from Hines, but they weren't really developing. They were stagnant, you know, and we saw that, you know, and I think that had a big deal with Ray getting let go. You know, I don't think Ray did a horrible job, like, acquiring players and stuff like that. Like, I agreed with a lot of his moves. I mean, one big backfire was a damn Grabner deal there, but I mean, like, even that wasn't, like, in the long run, it didn't really affect us.
It wasn't.
You know,
it wasn't a stretch of a move, though. That wasn't a stretch of a move. If you looked at Grabner at the time, like, that was a move that, on paper, made sense. Sometimes guys just don't work out, and that's the sad part of it. But
well, we talked about it last week. You know, I'm glad that he drafted Nico. You know, I'm glad that he drafted Hughes. You know, like, I think he made some smart plays in there, but he held on to Hines way too long, which he was known to do in Pittsburgh as well, which basically cost him his job because he wouldn't get rid of Blisma.
Yeah, maybe he had too much loyalty. Maybe what the Devils are looking for is someone that is willing to not have that buddy relationship with a head coach and willing to be the axe man and say, sorry, this isn't working. And maybe fix
I got to tell you something. I got to tell you something, guys.
4 or 5 years? Sorry.
Hi, Sam.
Good, Sam.
All I have to say is if the Coyotes get the first overall pick, I want to kill Ray. That's all.
And you know what?
Kill him with kindness.
They have the first overall pick, Lucky Charm, courtesy of us over there. Stupid.
Actually, Beer Baron, yes, kill him with kindness, because I forgot in the day of 2020, those words can be taken out of context. Yes, so, yes, kill him with kindness, because I would feel bad that he made a bad trade.
Yeah, exactly. You have to be careful. Tiptoe. It's eggshells everywhere.
It still burns me that a placeholder team is getting first overall pick.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a question. I got a random question for you guys. I sent you guys that picture a couple days ago. Can anybody verify, like, did Championship Plaza just get vandalized?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I haven't been down that way in a while.
Yeah, well, I'll ask the Facebook group. I sent you guys a picture. Yeah.
Cannot drive over and see.
Oh, come on. You'll be there in like 47 hours. Just hop in the car. You'll be there.
Yeah, maybe this was 3-4 years ago in Hoboken, but nowadays it's too far of a drive for me to go down there and check out.
You don't want to drop on the old Route 66 and just drive cross country?
Come on.
See the sights along the way?
I did that once. Oh, man. It was some parts were rough.
You sound like Christopher Walken there. Oh, man. It was fun for a minute, and then pow, boom. right in the kisser.
We got to Oklahoma, and there was nothing. It was flat.
There was nothing.
Crazy.
Fields for as far as you could see, maybe cow or two. Come up to your car, say hello, give you a treat. Not much. Say Chris was here. Break into a little Christopher Walken. That's how it goes in the Let's Go Devils podcast.
Yeah, it's and we're at that point in our season now where the season's not really over, and we've got nothing to talk about but speculation until a press conference is there and someone's being announced. That's all we're going to talk about.
So the other thing, though, is if you think about it, are they holding off, like we said before, because of there's a lot of coaches that are still going to be working right now. Lindy Ruff, which is a name that we said before.
Yeah.
He's unfortunately going to be working for a week at least until they get bounced right out of the playoffs. Let's go Carolina. But honestly, though, maybe that's the reason why they're not, but I don't know.
And I don't mind them taking time because they have it. They have the time, so I don't mind them taking it. But I was going to bring this up because I'm not sure of the facts, and I probably should know these, but the Vatanen trade, this long layoff helps him to recover and be ready for the playoffs. And then, if I'm not mistaken, we need them to win a series for our pick to be better.
Vancouver?
Yeah, we need Vancouver to get into the playoffs. Just into the playoffs, not win a series.
Yeah,
if they get it past that first, whatever series thing, and they get into the playoffs, then bam, first round pick.
Yeah, but no. I'm talking about Vatanen going to Carolina. Wasn't there something with Carolina if they did well, or if something with the Vatanen trade?
Crap! I forgot. I'm not gonna lie. I totally forgot that we traded Sammy Vatanen too.
Yeah, no, and I know
he has to play a certain amount of games, and he was injured. So I don't know how that would work because it was based on regular season. Now, is that
He's
5-game? He's 5-game round robin. There's probably. It's what, I don't even know how they're going to figure that one out. It's probably going to go to an arbitrator. Anyway,
but that could work in our benefit too because that was a long period of time off. If he can now be healthy, and if those games that he plays in the playoffs are will qualify him to give us a better pick. This could
if he wins the Conn Smythe, that would be great because that means he had to play a lot of games.
I'm going to look that up now because it's something I meant to ask, and I should have had more knowledge of that. But that's why I was going to ask it.
Come on, Jersey Joe. What's the answer to that?
Somebody. What are you, Brainiacs out there? Help us out. My brain doesn't work too well.
What is the answer?
All right, it was based on
plays. I forgot that we traded Sammy Vatanen, so I'm no good. I can't help you.
Yeah, it's a condition. All right, so it's a conditional 4th round, which can move up to a 3rd depending on games played.
For this year?
Let's see. Out. Blah blah blah.
That would be great if it's for this year because we don't have a 2nd or 3rd round pick. I liked Sammy Vatanen a lot.
So did I.
When he was a Devil. And then his injuries just got in the way.
Sammy Vatanen kind of came into a rough spot where he came into the Devils organization as the other side of a trade of a club legend.
Yeah.
Okay. So Jersey Joe just put in the Facebook group, New Jersey receives a 2024 round pick if Vatanen plays 5 regular season games this season. The pick upgrades to 2023 round pick if Vatanen plays 12 regular season games this season, or if Carolina makes the playoffs and he plays 70% of their playoff games.
Nice. I like
Let's
that last
go.
word there.
Wow.
Let's go,
So that
Carolina.
So that means all that has to happen is Carolina has to make the playoffs, make the first round, and he has to play 3 of the 4 games, and they get bounced.
Yeah, and then see you later, nerds.
And if Sammy's healthy, why wouldn't you play? Why wouldn't you play him? You know, if he's healthy.
Exactly.
Yeah. So once we get in the playoffs,
Nerd. So aggressive. Yeah. Let's go, you nerds. Bounce that team from the blue in the beginning.
Ogre.
Just like that. I don't know, when we had that podcast like just like a month ago, and I went on that rant of some nerd just, please, nerds, figure this out. Get us a vaccine already. I start screaming at the top of my lungs. Just grabbing nerds by the jacket. Figure this out.
During this pandemic, I've been watching old movies. Like this afternoon, I was watching Airplane. Remember that?
One of the best movies ever. One of the best movies ever.
Airplane.
He never has a second cup of coffee at home.
it just had its 40th anniversary.
What's that?
It just had its 40th anniversary.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
There's a great story about. No, I can't get into it. It's whatever.
I will
There's
say
a great
this.
story. There's. Go ahead. Go.
I held up my tradition, and every year, when I return home from whatever adventure I'm out for 4th of July, I always have to watch Independence Day before I turn in for the night. It's become my tradition. That is I watch, President Whitmore give the greatest presidential speech of all time, and then I watch, us kick ET's ass.
Yeah, dude. Welcome to Earth. And a strong right hand.
I could have been at a barbecue.
Exactly. Very underrated movie. It's not underrated, but a lot of people dismiss that movie, and they shouldn't. My buddy Kevin just said, "Pick the wrong day to stop sniffing glue," and that's true. I also have to say, Kevin, thank you for the beer from, I think it's Bucks Hill in Blairstown. My God, it was delicious. And if you haven't noticed, I'm wearing this awesome hat. It's from Chilton Brewery or Chilton Mill, which is in Long Valley, New Jersey. If you're looking for an awesome brewery, go down there. I'm not being paid to say this by any means. I'm an absolute huge fan of their beers. Incredible.
At some point this summer, when we're allowed to go places, which now we're getting to be to that point, I'm going to come down. We're going to go grab a beer there.
Hell yeah, dude! I've never had a beer.
When you're up for other people that aren't your personal bartender or your family, I will come down.
Yeah, seriously, 100%. We'll make that happen. Maybe in a week or two.
Hey, that works. I got nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I went to the store for the first time a couple days ago, or yesterday. I went to the store for the first time yesterday, and the people were like, "You went to the store?" I'm like, "Yeah, to buy fireworks." That's exactly why I went to the store. I went to the store. I wore the Let's Go Devils podcast face mask. I bought a whole mess of fireworks, and then blew them up in my backyard because, like they say in The Simpsons, what better way to celebrate the independence of this country than blowing up a piece of it?
I love that. I love that episode. An M320. I cannot wait. I get to step foot on a hockey rink Tuesday night at 7:00. I get to put pads on and try to remember how to stop a puck.
Hell yeah.
Use some of my new gear that I've been staring at for the majority of quarantine. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Back on the rink. Preparing for my season as the Devils e-bug. That's still the goal. That's still the goal. Get myself prepared.
There you
to
go.
be the Devils e-bug. And then watch my luck. I become an e-bug and I have to play for the them.
For those guys.
For them.
Oops, that one went by. I would never be so happy to let goals by.
Whoops. I blew a skate out. Whoops.
I'd probably sit there.
Why is his jersey on fire in the middle of the period? And he's not wearing it.
I'd probably be celebrating a goal that I let in. Yeah! Hey, you!
Oh my God.
Sorry. Oh, but yes, back in the rink. I cannot wait.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have to take some pictures from the rink and post it on the Facebook group.
Yeah.
Donning my gear for the first time in forever.
Crazy. Scotty, I have a question for you on the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
From what I hear, Edmonton's going to be one of the homes of the whole reopening, and then Toronto's going to be the other, and then Edmonton's going to have, I believe it's the East and West Finals and the Stanley Cup is going to be played in Edmonton. On the West Coast, I don't know if what the vibe is. I don't want to say I get the hiccup, sorry. And what is the vibe about what's going on with reopening and stuff like that and blah, blah, blah. What is the vibe of just bringing sports back? Is there a buzz about hockey in California too? Is there I know on the East Coast here, we have a good buzz about it. They actually talk about it on the radio, which is super rare because they never talk about hockey on the radio. And I'm kind of curious, what's it like out in California? Are they even talking about it? Any of that stuff, sports or anything?
I mean, yeah, everyone's excited for stuff to come back, but every spot's a little bit different. Out here we've had kind of a resurgence of stuff, so everyone's been super cautious with things. But yeah, out here in LA, I mean, they can't wait for the Kings, and down south a little bit more the Ducks to come back, and up north, with the Sharks. But just sports in general, they want to see. Everyone wants to see football season start. Everyone wants to see, the Lakers are huge out here. They would love to see the Lakers come back, obviously. But LA, they get a bad rap, but they are actually really big sports fans. They just don't really care that much about football. But Dodgers, Lakers, Kings, they're all about it.
All right, cool, man.
Yeah, it'll be just to have stuff back. I just hope it comes back. I know the MLS tournament is currently in danger. They've postponed at least 1 or 2 games. I know one for sure. They may have postponed a second game.
Between the Whitecaps and Dallas, right?
Yeah, between the Whitecaps and Dallas, and there may have been another one that was postponed too that I just saw today. So it's looking questionable at best. It's looking questionable at best.
Scotty's hit it.
There it is.
And it's only 8:00 by you.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. I'm good.
Go
get me some In and Out.
Oh God.
Well, I think that music means it's time for more beer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hey, happy birthday, dude.
Thank you. I still got an hour and 45 minutes to celebrate with a little bit more beer.
Yeah, and I want to give a big special shout to our good friend Will Wowman right now. I love you, buddy. We're thinking about you, and
dude,
you rock.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, brother. Hey, get better soon.
All right, I guess I'll. Shall I take us out?
Take us out,
Yeah,
birthday
brought
boy.
us in. Take us out.
Here we go. It's my birthday, and until next time, let's go Devils.